All right, here we are, guys. I absolutely love the chemistry and the synergy we are bringing to these shows. I feel like every week I'm getting more comfortable. I hope you guys are getting more comfortable. I hope our viewers are getting more comfortable. We're going live on Twitter for the first time tonight, so like and subscribe. I'm not even gonna flash it up on the screen right away. I'm gonna hope that you guys just like and subscribe because our content is that damn good. And we're gonna do something a little bit different tonight. We're gonna start with some trivia. So you guys know we always usually start with our spread picks, one spread pick, and then we'll finish with a spread pick, kind of to round it out. But I've been consuming different style NFL content this weekend. I saw a great trivia question. So I think I already saw it, so I can't play along. But I thought it'd be a good tiebreaker between you and Donnie Gov. So each of you will have one guess, and don't worry if you don't know it. I didn't know it; I got it wrong. So I will play along as if I'll tell you my initial answer to the question, even though I know the answer now. So, Donnie, could you bring that up for us, buddy?
Yep, just did.
Thank you. You can see that, right, Gov?
Yep.
You can read it, Logan.
Carson Wentz dropped back to pass 25 times and recorded 99 passing yards and their victory over the Bears. Who was the last quarterback to drop back at least 25 times, record less than 100 yards passing, and still win the game?
Tebow.
That's a good answer.
That was guessed. That was guessed.
I'm gonna throw a curveball and say Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
No.
Now I'm gonna draw this out because I'm starting to get used to this production type business. And some of their guesses in their chat. This is by PFF. This is a PFF news show with Mike Renner, who does a lot of college content for them, and this young fellow named Connor Rogers. So this is PFF's every weekday show. It's kind of like their morning show. It's called Just Football, where they do trivias on Thursday. My guess was at the time was Sam Darnold.
I almost said Brian Greasy for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay, so let's do this because they didn't do this, but I thought this would be an interesting.
I was about to say, once you said Sam Darnold, Mark Sanchez might have done it. That could have been it.
It wasn't Mark Sanchez. But I thought this would be a fun way to do this, and I'll give you some of the answers in their chat too, because I thought they had some good ones. But I was like, who couldn't it have been? That's how I attacked it. So I thought, like, who do you know it wasn't, basically?
It wasn't a Manning. It wasn't Brady. It wasn't Favre.
I'm having fun with this. I'm going to give you guys another hint, and so then you'll get another guess. It was last year.
Last year?
So it's not historic. It was last year.
So it was the Bears that did it to somebody, and it was Fields.
It was not Fields. Donnie, you have another official
Oh, God, I know what it is. I think I know what it is, Donnie.
You know what it is? I'll give you one more official.
I know what it is. I
Baker?
know a game.
It
No,
was not Baker. Go
no,
ahead.
I know what it is. I know it was New England, wasn't it? It was Mac Jones.
No, it was not, sir.
It was.
I knew
Wait,
it
no,
wasn't
no.
Mac.
Didn't they
I
win
knew
that
it
game?
wasn't Mac.
They won that game that he only threw like three
passes.
He only
Yeah.
threw three passes.
Yeah.
Or threw it 7 times. Oh, right.
So Mike Renner and Connor Rogers both guessed. Who did they guess? I think I don't know this for sure because they had a couple different guesses, but their official guess I think was Zach Wilson. It was Kirk Cousins.
What? Never would I have guessed that.
That actually was a name I didn't say, but ran through my head of a guy. I don't think it would have been on my list of nope, wasn't a Manning, wasn't.
You know who
couldn't have been Cousins, not when he was with Washington or not when he's been with Minnesota.
I should have said Jimmy Garoppolo. That's what I should have said.
I was thinking Trey Lance, maybe one of his starts last year. He might have thrown like 26 passes and only had like 90 yards or something.
Yeah, it was Kirk Cousins. I love the boys over at PFF. This morning,
Oh my God, I remember that game. Holy crap!
yeah, now you do. Now you do. I believe they played the Bears that night. So you were almost there with Fields. So
I think that was the game I was thinking of. I just put it on Fields.
Yeah, you just put it on Fields. I mean, it's
wow.
It's an honest thing to do. You know what I like most about this show is like we wanted to be so unstructured in the beginning that we kind of came off like wildfire gov in the beginning. During this, we didn't know where we wanted to go. Do we do live content? And now it's like the three of us just come on and we keep adding to it and just having fun. I'm really enjoying this show because I look back at it and I'm like, we do a really good job. And I don't normally top myself, but I have to admit, we've done a really good job. If you go back and watch our older episodes since Donnie joined and we've been doing, the weekly Mondays and Fridays, we do a really good job of staying current, but also having evergreen content and really focusing on fun, but also process building. And I got to say, like, I've consumed some other content this week, and some people were giving out plays and stuff like that. And sure, we might mention plays we like, but we do that based on the idea of the play. And I think this week especially, the theory of the play is really important. Donnie, why don't you speak to, because me and Gov have probably been at this point nauseous over it. At least I've consumed too much about it. I'll hit on it, but what do you think about the Chiefs Bills just as a football fan? Give people the non-DraftKings kind of minutia, because in the fantasy DraftKings daily community, it's starting to get kind of sickening to me.
Yeah, I honestly am a fan of the Chiefs to win that game. I don't have that as one of my picks this week, so I'm not worried about saying that. I just feel like the Bills look flat at some points and get too Diggs oriented or big play oriented. It's kind of like what the Chiefs issue was last year at the start of the year. They're not taking the simple stuff. They're not running the ball. They're just trying to do too much. And with a hurt defense, they really just need to keep the defense off the field, and they keep making them go back on and on and on.
Gov, I don't know about you, but I'm going to make a bold statement. I'm going to say people want to play this game so badly, and they want to jam in guys like Diggs and Allen and all these guys and Gabe Davis, and it might work. It really might work. And if it does, congratulations, because you're going to have to get different. I honestly think a guy like Noah Gray will be more owned than Kyle Pitts this week. And I just think that, now, not saying like Noah Gray is the guy, but I'm saying like,
fact about Noah Gray, he grew up in my hometown.
Did he?
Yes.
I like him. They're using him a lot like a slot guy. And I brought him up because a lot of people probably don't know him, especially if you're an amateur or a beginner, because we get a lot of like beginner seedling type DraftKings players. It's kind of become our specialty on this show as we talk process. I'm not even saying it will be this guy. I just think a lot of people are going to want to play this game, that they'll overthink this game to the point where they're like, I have to play Diggs or I have to do this. And so a guy like this is going to go over-owned, where like Kyle Pitts, even Mark Andrews are just going to go severely under-owned this week. Do you see that, Gov, or am I overthinking it the other way?
I mean, I don't think it's going to be that drastic. Like,
yeah,
I don't think a lot of people are going to get the Noah Gray. I won't get the Noah Gray, and I'm playing.
Well, maybe not Noah Gray, but you could name a player like you could say like Sky Moore, which I don't know. At that point, it's like maybe Sky Moore, but then it's just I don't see. The thing is, and we saw it. We've already seen it with the Detroit game and the Seahawks, and then we saw it with Lamar Jackson and Tua. So I just feel like people are going to be like game hunting too much this week. Like there's just too much buildup, dude. I really do believe that. I think it's going to be a good football game, but I don't know where the points are going to come because I do think both defenses are better than people think they are.
I agree with that.
Yeah, for very different reasons. The Chiefs have a really good run defense. And people say, well, the Bills pass. What makes the Bills so dangerous is that Josh Allen can run the ball. Like he's kind of like a better version of Cam Newton, in my opinion. And if the Chiefs do neutralize him in the rushing game, it's going to affect his floor quite a bit. So I like to talk about the main DFS headlines, as you guys know. I already said that it's going to be the Chiefs game. Any other main DFS headlines while we warm up the toaster for our spread pick, for our first spread pick? Any other like main takeaways? Obviously, we're going to get into the weeds a bit more on some of this matchup stuff and some of these pivots, but any like you got to mention it moments ago that you're noticing?
The most important thing I would say is like get the baseline out there. That Buffalo Kansas City game should be one of the higher owned games, along with that Arizona Seattle game. So those are going to be the chalky games.
Yeah,
on the week.
Playing
other places will get you different, but there are still chalky pieces coming out of other games. Mostly running backs, but that's about it for like a quick DFS overview.
Donnie, did you enjoy sweating the game? I think initially you said it was fun. Now that you've had some time to like stew on it, what was kind of like almost a full week now since you've had your first, daily fantasy kind of sweat?
Okay, I'll give a negative and then I'll give a positive. I'd say the negative here would be I was paying attention to so much that I wasn't focused on, a certain game or something like that, But overall, it did make every game much more enjoyable. So I overall liked it.
I don't know how long
that sounds about an even trade for me, though.
Yeah.
Like it caused you to focus on it caused you to not focus on one game so much, but it allowed you to enjoy all of the games more in an essence.
Correct. And what I like about Donnie is like, I think of all the people on this podcast, I think you're the oldest soul, but I don't think I'm pulling any secrets here, Donnie. You won't mind. You're the youngest person here. I'm pretty sure people might be able to pick up on that. But the way you consume sports is very traditional. And so, like, I know we only probably got a few more weeks of you just, like, experiencing these stuff for the first time. So I appreciate when you have a negative to say. And it's funny because a lot of people in your generation like love the players over the team, but you're a team guy. You're a big Patriots fan.
Yeah, I will not follow Brady and Gronk.
Right, but a lot of people in your generation do. So we don't get very many of these weeks left, Donnie. I feel like as you get to know me and Gov and get to be on our Discord channels and like you're really enjoying the process, just like a lot of our other younger, viewers. What is because you don't know the salaries yet. You might have seen them on the screen as I'm sharing the screen, but like, what's your like can't miss prospects of this game? Like, would you go Diggs over Davis? Like, do you have any major like headlines coming out
on just the Kansas City game, or just
the Kansas City game? Just because, like, I'm telling you, I've consumed probably over 90 hours of content over on DFS, and like everyone talks about DFS in this Buffalo Kansas City game from a salary standpoint, or this guy's the best value. And like you might be the only one on the planet that I know that doesn't play DFS and knows some of these salaries. So like what's some of the main takeaways that you're going to be watching just as a football fan?
Diggs is the safest bet. I mean, if that game is high scoring, Diggs is going to have a touchdown. It's almost guaranteed.
I am not in a disagreement with that.
I would agree with that. Gov, do you have any questions for him?
Oh, let's see. No, actually. Like I'm glad to hear that like that's sort of how I expected his first sweat to go.
Yeah.
Like, that was a great way of describing it, because like it was hard for me to remember last week because my first real sweat in DFS is literally like almost 10 years ago. That's a long time for me to remember back to. Like I'm a child.
Yeah.
Not a literal child, not a literal, like I'm like 22, but like that's still a long time ago.
Well, I'll tell you this story because I'll save my like biggest win story because I think that's cool for a different reason. But we just brought up how Donnie's a fan of this team, so I think it's pertinent. I remember my first win on DraftKings. Like the first time I turned profit ever, I played. It was James White's rookie year against the Buffalo Bills, and it was still when you played the Monday night slate. And I just remember people doubting me and thinking like, "Oh, fantasy, you're gonna get addicted. You're gonna become a gambler. You know, like all this bad stuff's gonna happen." And truly, I just want to relate that back. I would have never met Gov. I would have probably not had the relationship with Donnie that I currently have. Like sports has allowed me to communicate with these guys on a much deeper level, and I really do appreciate these guys, and it's sharing moments like that. We're gonna build another lineup this week because we enjoyed it so much. It wasn't that we won $3 profit. I mean, we put together a lineup on stream. It was fun. It helped you guys. Obviously we didn't show it out completely, but like it's more about the process, the easy bake oven. Everyone wants an easy button, but for me, it's like watching something develop is so much fun. Maybe that's why the Kansas City game pisses me off, Gov, because everyone's just like over marinated this damn thing. And so like it's just, I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm like the craft beer guy and I'm just like, I want to craft my own thoughts and my own theories. And like this game is just getting so overcooked. Speaking of overcooked, I think the toaster is definitely popped up our burnt bread at this point. Do you guys want to put some sweet spread on the toast tonight? What's the first spread pick that you guys got?
I'll start us off.
I was about to say, great transition with that one. I'm a little off put, but like, okay. Donnie, who you got?
My first game is going to be, I'm taking the Jets at +7.5. I have picked the Jets like 4 times. I've picked like 4 Jets games so far. I don't think the Packers can score much. Jets have looked good. That's pretty much all it is to it. I don't see the Packers beating anybody by more than double digits this season.
I'll say this, Gov. I think this is Breece Hall's like coming out party. I think he knew he was talented.
If last week wasn't it with them vulturing 2 touchdowns, yeah, this could be his coming out party. Yeah.
Well, like I think he knew he was talented, and I think his teammates now know. Like, I'll just say it because it's the first analogy going in my mind. It's like when you're in a locker room and you're like, hey, it's kind of weird to get naked for the first time, right? But then, like, midway through the season, you're like, okay, everyone's pretty much, we're just used to this now. Like, it's not the first week of the season anymore. We all get in and get out, and we get in a rhythm. And it's like Wilson was out for a while. Are the Jets good? Is Saul a good coach? I think the Jets know who they are, and I don't think anyone's scared of the Packers' legacy anymore. I think we can admit that they're not like god awful, they're not dumpster fire bad, but they're not the Packers of old.
If the Patriots can hang in, then the Jets should be able to too.
Right. And the thing that the Packers do so well is Sean Gary is really rushing the passer really, really well. And I think the way to counterbalance that is the Jets' rushing game. And by the way, they have used the rookie, the name that's escaping me, and I feel bad about it. But he played right tackle, left tackle, and guard all this season. I believe it's a kid from Illinois. It doesn't surprise you. It's a offensive line factory. I'll try to pull up the name. Maybe it'll come to my recesses by the end of the show. But yeah, he's honestly, dude. He's played guard, right tackle, and left tackle. Like that's incredible based on some of the transitions they've had to do, and he's played all three positions at a high level. And now Hall's starting to really gain some traction. I think I'll let you finish that game, but I had a good transition. But let's finish our spread picks. Donnie, anything else you want to mention about the Jets? I do like that selection this week.
No, I'm good on the Jets. I know I don't have much to say on it, but I just feel like that's a simple pick.
Gov, you got anything? Any DFS takes?
I love Breece Hall for DFS. I think he's in about the same range as of those cheaper running backs that people are playing, so he'll receive less ownership this week. I really like him as a solid running back play. I'm not against stacking Zach Wilson because if Rodgers and Green Bay gets anything put together, he'll have to throw. If. He'll have to throw. Again, I'm more willing to play the Jets defense with Breece Hall and think Rodgers has sort of a game.
I think they have three receivers out again, and so it's just Cobb and Dubs. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I believe Lazard is still playing, but I don't think they have anyone else other than that. Yeah,
I brought him up and I'm not even being funny. Honestly, I do think if Mims was on the Packers, he'd be playing this week he'd be starting for the Packers. And right now, he is like bottom, barely on the roster, probably going to be inactive for the Jets just because they have so many wide receivers. I think people are underestimating how talented, like the flip that we've seen. I think, the younger, more experienced team is obviously the Packers, but the younger, more flashy team is the Jets now.
It is October. This is when we're getting the weird games. Like, we're gonna have these early season upsets, and eventually the Jets will fall off. I don't think it's this week.
I don't think they will, though. I really don't.
When I say fall off, I mean they're gonna finish like 7-9.
I don't think so. I think they win that division. By the way, back by popular demand, we were asked in the comment section if we would do a division preview kind of show. So next week, I was thinking, and Donnie was also talking about it, maybe it'd be fun to do like the best and worst team of each division. So we could potentially do that next week. Maybe we can even put a fantasy spin on it. But I like the Jets team a lot. I think they're really explosive. Gov, do you have your first pick?
I do. And what I'm going to do is, after looking at the Vegas total and seeing what happened, I am going to take the Miami Dolphins plus 3 points.
With Skylar Thompson at starting quarterback.
I am going to take the Miami Dolphins at home plus 3 points against the Minnesota Vikings.
Plus 3 or plus 3.5?
I see plus 3. I'll take
Okay.
3.5, but I see plus 3. This is one of my flag plants on the week.
That is a trap game. If I
This is okay. This is one of my flag plants on the week. Minnesota, after a very good game last week, being at home training, they are now going to Miami.
Yep.
And Miami has one of the greatest 12th mans in all of football.
Yep.
His name is the Sun, the Florida Sun. And it's supposed to be 85 with 80% humidity. That right there, like, I am betting on the heat of the Florida screwing with the Vikings. And the Dolphins will be able to do just enough. Now, was Teddy completely ruled out?
Yes, it is confirmed. Skylar Thompson started.
So, no. I want to be clear because I have this on good authority. Teddy Bridgewater wasn't ruled out. He was told he is the backup to Thompson this week. He will serve as Thompson's backup this week.
That's what I thought. Like, he is still active this week.
Yes.
But it will be if Thompson pulls a Nathan Peterman or gets hurt himself, that will be when we get Teddy time. Either way, I am willing to go with the Dolphins winning this game. Well, again, they don't even have to win. They can lose 17-19 to Kirk Cousins. I still get 3 points.
I'm going to say this. Do you think the Skylar Thompson call is a smokescreen?
No. I think Skylar Thompson has a chance to have a Dak Prescott like vignette. I'm not saying he'll be Dak Prescott, but remember how like when Tony Romo got hurt, everyone thought the sky was falling, and then Dakota. I like his name Dakota. I don't know why people don't call him Dakota more often.
He actually, that's not even his first name. It's something completely different, I believe.
First of all, speaking of which, I don't know why Brian Hoyer doesn't go by Axel. Axel is actually Brian Hoyer's actual name. Axel Hoyer is just great. But sky is the limit for Thompson. I truly think this was a smart decision. I just didn't think they had the guts to do it. You know, and I'm not saying that Skylar Thompson is like a world beater, but you know what you got with Bridgewater, and Gov talked about the heat. And I think it was time to drain the swamp and see. Speaking of water, bridge over water there. I see what there fun. But here's the thing: if the Dolphins are going to survive a few more weeks without Tua, they're going to need a spark. They're going to need a Cooper Rush kind of renaissance. And Skylar Thompson's the closest thing they got. I like the call. Who is the worst play for the Dolphins? Like, so you don't know salary, you haven't been exposed to a ton of content, I'm guessing, Donnie, on specific DraftKings plays. So if you were going to advise Gov on this game and you were to say, like, don't play this guy, even if you think he is a good play, who would that be? Like, would it be Thompson? Is that like what scares you most about this selection, I guess?
Is Cedric Wilson playing? I think that would be the worst play if he's playing this week.
Yeah, I think he is playing. And there was, he was a college quarterback. There was a rumor that he might be a Taysom Hill type of wildcat. We've seen Saquon Barkley do it as well in the goal line this year. We've seen a lot more wildcat kind of formations. Cedric Wilson does look like he's going to play. I did pick him up in our fantasy league because of this. He did see some targets last week, and it did say his role should expand. This would be a great bring back play if you were to stack this game. I don't think you will, but if you really didn't like it this much, are you going to play it at all?
I mean, I'm going to have heavy exposure to the Dolphins defense.
I
They
would
might
avoid
literally
Cedric
be my
Wilson.
lock button defense. Like,
Well,
I
me
get-
and
I get
Logan
the heat.
disagree.
I get the heat, I get all of that, and I get a team that I know can pass the ball or is going to try. Like Cousins is going to try to throw it to Jefferson and Thielen, but he could have an off game in the heat. All those receivers are tired running around. Like, that's my exposure to this game. I think the Dolphins defense keeps this close and low scoring. And so 3 points is plenty. That's why I said I can still win my bet if this game is 14-13. Even if the Vikings win.
Damn it, Gov. We're in sync again, man. I hate to say it because the Lions are bye on bye week. And it's going to look like I'm being biased again because the Vikings play in my division. You could say Kirk Cousins, and obviously we did the trivia at the top where we just kind of, unfortunately, we took the guy out to the recycle bin a bit, but he did win the game. Cousins finds the ways to win the ugliest games, but they've been extremely the variance on their luck has went their way at every turn this season. You know, the Lions had the lead late in the game. They were losing last week to the Chicago Bears late and had to come back. Like, as win totally as the Vikings have looked, they have not covered a single game this year. They have been terrible in terms of Vegas totals. Like, it could go very badly for the Vikings had they not had some what I would consider luck propositions. I like that a lot. Let me get to my pick, and then we'll continue to talk some more process here. I won't. People might be able to guess it now. We do love one game. It's going to be our group pick, and we can get to that later. So I won't pick that game, although that might be my favorite game of the week.
It's a great game. So, like, we all agree on that.
Yeah, I'm going to take. I don't even know the spread. I'm assuming I would get some points. So maybe one of you guys can tell me. But I like the money line on it. I mean, I will take the points if they are underdog. But I like the Saints defensive line to really crush the offensive line of Cincinnati. They're possibly without Higgins. It looks like Hayden Hurst is maybe going to play because Higgins won't play. This team is banged up. Their offensive line has been bad.
DraftKings has it at +3 for the Saints.
I see +3 as well.
Yeah, give me +3. I think the Saints are getting healthier. Jameis might come back. Kamara might come back. I don't like the vibes I'm getting out of Cincinnati. I think the shine's starting to rub off Taylor. Higgins looks like he's down. I've never been a Boyd guy. And truly, I think Cincinnati has one of the worst offensive lines in the league. And then I think the Saints, have a tremendous defensive line. Tremendous. Gov, what's the single worst DraftKings decision you could make in the next 5 minutes? And while you think about that, I'm going to tell you why I asked you that question. Because I think a lot of people are on their way home. Maybe they're getting ready for Saturday night. They got home after a long work, week. They went to the bar with their friends, watched some college football today. And now they're ready to fire up a lineup before they go to bed. Like, what's some of the worst decisions you can make in the next, I said 5 minutes, but let's extend it. The next hour, you're building a lineup before you go to bed. What's some of the worst decisions you can make this late into the slate?
The worst decision you can make is saying whatever you build tonight is final.
Yeah.
That would be the first thing. Like as much as you may love it and think it's beautiful, you can't finalize what it is until, I don't know, 5-10 minutes before lock, 15 minutes before lock, once you've really had all the info and been able to take inactives into account. And like once all of that goes through, the lineup may not change, but until that happens, you can't have any thought of, well, I'm keeping this lineup no matter what. Like I don't agree with that. I think you have to be willing to adjust the news. If something happens with inactives, or like, and all of a sudden another crazy running back is available, you have to be willing to pivot to that guy. Maybe he is now the best cheap running back play, even though there's like 5 of them. So like, you never be set in stone until right before lock. You are set in stone at 1 o'clock when DK locks your lineup. That's it. Most important thing you could mess up on in the next 5 minutes starting the lineup is thinking that whatever you build right now is final.
Yeah, we joke around a lot about being fans of different sports, about being fans of different avenues. And we talked about how you're a fan of the WWE. My brother testified. It's the simple things that people don't understand about this game that go underappreciated every single week. And it's things like that. It's like, oh, well, my buddy said that Stephon Diggs is the best guy. Donnie literally said that Stephon Diggs is a good play. But that doesn't mean we should lock Stephon Diggs in a lineup tonight. And like, you could say that out loud, but not actually do that. So for you to point out the obvious on a Saturday, I think a lot of people wait till Saturday sometimes to build lineups, but then they don't apply the simpleton methods. Donnie, what's some of the more simple takeaways for this week? I got one, and I think it's the most important. It hasn't been mentioned yet. Do you have any like simple, like guaranteed, like foolproof strategy guides? Any ideas? Like any locks of the week? Is there anything like you're pretty much sold on for sure? You want to make people know?
The Jags defense against a Matt Ryan Colts team and no running backs. I think that's a great play. I mean,
it is.
You probably get either low scoring, most likely a turnover. So we know that game's not going to be a high scoring game.
At least not on the Indy side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what was the game? They already played this year in Jacksonville. It was 24-0. So, like, Jags might not go off and score 30 points, and I don't expect Indy to score. I believe that game was the one where they didn't have Pittman. So, like, they couldn't throw the ball hardly at all, and Jonathan Taylor was not effective like he has been. So, not to mention the Jags defense is legitimately good.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. I'm going to throw this out of nowhere. Do you guys like watching baseball? Is that something you can stomach?
Not the game that's on right now.
I was about to bring that up. End of the 16th inning, and it is 0-0.
Okay.
Hold
on. Let me bring that up and tie it into our football conversation really quickly. That game actually has DFS ramifications. I don't know if you know that, Donnie. I'm glad you brought that up. I believe, now tell me if I'm wrong, chat, or you can laugh at me later. Maybe Gov knows. Hopefully he does. I believe if Seattle wins that game, they are considering moving the Seattle-Arizona game back an extra half an hour. That does hold value to PMR and will affect the NFL slate. In all sincerity, like, it will. It then becomes the latest game. I can't remember which way it has to go, but it has to do with viewership and wanting to get the most eyeballs on the screen. I believe
Seattle would have to win.
Yeah, it is Seattle, right? The Mariners.
Yeah.
They have to win. Which
I
would
just
be
thought that was a
great.
funny thing to bring up.
Yeah.
That's yeah. All right. So where were we? Oh yeah, we were talking about Jacksonville. Great, love Jacksonville. I think we all love Jacksonville.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, pretty sure Jacksonville is our lock of the week.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up as well.
That's a good way to just put that out there. Jags, I would put the money line. I don't even want the points. Go money line.
Yep,
Lock of the
I
week.
would. I'll take a point. I'll take a pick 'em. I'll take a money line.
I'd put the
Jags.
Jaguars to win by 7.
Yeah.
No, I don't know about that. Yeah,
You guys can
but
see
like
me.
Jags all the way.
Yeah. The stream cannot see me, but you guys can see me. If I want to get crazy, we could take off our shirts. We could get wild. Why do we need to get wild here? This is a game that if Jacksonville is serious, like if Trevor Lawrence is taking an ascension, and playing Christian Kirk was worth it, and rebolstering that offensive line, and all the moves they made, money they poured in. If they can't beat the Colts with a geriatric quarterback, and Matt Ryan has an ice shoulder more than he's Matty Ice at this point, and they don't have Jonathan Taylor, then the Jags are who we thought they were. Singletary told us that years ago, showing my age a bit. But honestly, I think this is a prove-it week for both teams. Remember, the Colts beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So one of these teams is a joker. We're about to find out. I'm going to say the Jags are for real. But in saying that, we're gonna find out tomorrow. And I think that's the fun of the NFL. Why don't we move on, and why don't we build? We talked about building these spreads and like games we like and different series. Let me just quickly say we're going to build a lineup here. My biggest takeaway outside of the Chiefs game, which we mentioned at the top, and it kind of correlates and brings it all together as we're about to correlate this lineup like you guys wouldn't believe. I feel it coming. This week, above all, Gov had it right. Do not build a lineup Saturday night thinking it's going to be this way. There has been so much injury news that this slate becomes really fun. This is almost like week 1 with some of the value plays we have on the slate, Gov. I love this week. Because while everyone was thinking about Kansas City Buffalo game, we just fish in the barrel. Running backs just kept getting hurt. And then I don't know what happened to Cam Akers, but it's not even injury related.
Yeah, he just is upset and left the team.
Yeah, and I work in mental health, so it could be a health issue just on a different perspective. You guys might have saw a couple weeks ago we drafted John Wall in basketball, and he spoke about mental health, and so I appreciate a lot of these former athletes coming out about mental health and being a real thing. Believe me, I'm not trying to discourage it at all, but it is real. And Cam Akers is not playing. Henderson is a pass catcher. Stafford already likes to throw to running backs. Already has a shorter A-dot given that offensive line. And Cooper Kupp is coming off a groin injury. Cooper Kupp is the one guy that I would not pay for this week. You could not pay me to put him in a lineup this week unless these guys do it just in about 5 minutes from now, just to really watch me squeeze. They might, because they did that to me a couple weeks ago when I couldn't draft Russell Westbrook for the life of me in our best ball contest. So who knows what they'll do to me tonight? But and then you got Walker, the rookie, who knows he needs a big game if he's going to steal Rookie of the Year. And I do think a lot of times rookie of the year does matter for some of the young guys. So he got Olave. Brees Hall's too cheap. Kenneth Walker, Ito Benjamin. These type of guys. I mean, they're out there this week. They really are. Gov, do you have any pillars this week? I know Donnie said he didn't have one as of when we spoke a couple hours ago. He might have one now. As we start to build this lineup, we have these what I call pillars where we have to do whatever.
I told you what my pillar.
Oh, do you have one now? What is it?
Yeah, I said Jags defense is a must play.
Okay, fair enough.
I would go, like, if you weren't playing the Jags, then I would be playing the Dolphins. But, like, I think that I'm fine with we'll lock button the Jags defense in, solid 3,000, and deal with our salary from there.
Yep.
I'm fine with that.
We'll do that one. Gov, do you have one? Because I have one. I think you guys know what it is, but we'll share it with the stream after Gov tells us his.
Well, my pillar for the week, like my strategy, the process I'm going with is I'm seeing a lot, like you explained, with like a lot of the cheap running backs.
Yep.
So the chalk is going to come and the ownership's going to come to those couple of guys, which is going to pull from everyone else. I think the same thing is happening at tight end, where the middle of tight end is going to get no ownership because everyone's either going up to Andrews or Kelsey, or they have pay down options like Zentry from Pittsburgh. So I think the high 3K, 4K tight ends are going to get almost no ownership. So I like making sure that I get different, but I don't think I need to get I'm not looking at pay up running back. I'm looking at different mid-range to low-end running backs that aren't getting the ownership. Because I think that's the first place people are going to go is if you're not playing Eno and you're not playing Henderson, they're going to go up to a Kamara or a Fournette. And I like playing Brees Hall in the same price range, playing Jerick McKinnon in the same price range, and that kind of stuff. So my main process is going to be, I think this is the week where I'm going to have a lineups that's going to look kind of like the normal cash build, but it's going to be different. And I think that's going to work this week. After the onslaught of chalk that happened where all the cashy builds were at the top of tournaments last week, I think that sort of build, but being in the lower percentage guys is what's going to work. While also correlating and keeping things smart.
Why don't we do that? We can definitely do that with your pillar. We can name a guy we think is going to be a good play. He has to be a good play.
How about right off the bat? Like I said, Brees Hall, 5,800 running back. Let's start with him.
He's
right around he's right around that Ramondre range, a little more than Walker, more than Eno. Yep. Like he's going to be right around all those chalky running backs. Are they actually going to play Brees Hall?
I like it.
I got your tight end for you. Evan Ingram.
All right. We can correlate the tight end with the Jags defense. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that as well.
There's a different mid-range tight end, same sort of thing. So I like that as a good core.
Let me tell you what my request is. I told these guys as well, so that's probably why we haven't done it yet. I want to build a lineup. I've never done it where you pick quarterback last.
We're on pace.
On pace for it. So we're doing good. So all you gotta do is keep it going.
Yeah, I want to correlate as much as we can with trying. Obviously, as we go on, it'll be probably more obvious. But to try to wait as long as we can before we even think about correlating a quarterback with a player. Just who are the best players that nobody else is going to be on? And I think these pillars really work well together. And so what I want to do is go when you make your picks, I want you to tell me the player that you think is good but the reason you're not going to play him is obviously ownership. We all know that, but like why the other play is better. So like Hall, you explained very well. Do you have another one?
Yes, I do. And I wonder how you guys are going to feel about this.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the mid-price wide receivers also getting ownership. Your Godwins, your Lockett's, that 555 to 6,500 range.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one not getting a lot of ownership who looks really good to me, and it's also one of my flag plants. That's Amari Cooper at 5,900.
I actually love that. I was thinking the same thing. No Jonathan Jones this week.
Mm-hmm. And
Okay.
Cooper at home, Cooper has averaged 11 targets and 20 DraftKings points a game. Cleveland has put up more than 20 points in every game they played so far this year.
It's going to be Jack Jones on Amari Cooper most likely.
I like this, but here's my thing. If I play Cooper, I want to play him naked.
I'd have no problem playing him as a one-off. Like, ideally, you would play Cooper on the other side of Ramondre to sort of get off the Ramondre chalk. But we're doing that by playing Breece Hall, who's in the same price range. So we're sort of getting the double whammy on that. So, like, if you think about it as Cooper correlates with Breece Hall to get as much ownership leverage for everything we can off of that game. Because if we think of Breece Hall as basically just an ownership leverage of Ramondre Stevenson, then Cooper correlates with Ramondre. I'm fine thinking about it that way.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, Donnie, do you have another piece, or do we want to just try to jam Stephon Diggs because he's like one of the best plays on the site?
We can jam Stephon Diggs.
I mean, I have no problem jamming Stephon Diggs. What about you, Logan? You want to jam Stephon Diggs?
Yeah. We're not digging ditches here. We're not going to the bottom of the barrel to dig the ditch. This is a luxury pick.
We have plenty of salary to work with. We haven't spent on much. We can afford.
I have another receiver
to jam in Diggs. Who do you like?
Devin Duvernay. How do we feel about that?
Yeah, the number one for Baltimore. It's like, well, technically,
I don't know what his price is.
Technically, Mark Andrews is the number one for Baltimore. Let's be
realistic.
But without Bateman, Duvernay should get a majority of the outside targets. So
he had 5 catches last week. He's averaged around 5.
Are you afraid of this vaunted 4-1 New York Giants team?
Not the secondary.
You don't fear them? I don't fear them at all. It's okay. I have no problem. He'll be decent salary savings, so like I think it will help.
I don't like it, but if we play it, you guys
we can always change it up. Maybe we'll like something else.
I'm fine with Saquon.
If I play Duvernay, you gotta give me Saquon.
I'm fine with Saquon.
I can maybe live with Saquon.
We'll put him in for now, and we'll see how we feel.
Yeah, we can do Saquon, and we can do Duvernay as a little mini stack. We'll see how things go.
Now, let me tell you what I would do if I was playing a Raven this week. I know he only got targeted twice. He missed a 90-yard touchdown, wide open. Like, it wasn't like a blown coverage, kind of wide open. It was, I got myself open, and my quarterback missed me.
I would play Duvernay.
I know that. And we can. He's a smarter play. But if I was to take the chance, no. You know what I want to do? I think there's good running backs out there. I want to do this. So we'll play Devin Duvernay. Let me see what you guys think about this. So instead of playing Barkley, I'll let you guys decide. We played the new age Steve Smith. We play Wendell Robinson.
If he plays, I kind of want to see what he does. I can deal with
So
that.
Okay,
you
I know.
I can deal with it. It's ugly, but ugly can win you stuff.
I know we said quarterback last, but what
It
if
has
we? Yeah. Well, we have a
No,
one
I'm
running back spot.
honestly, I'm fine going Wandale. Just make sure you switch Wandale and Diggs so we have PMR.
What if
Yeah.
we go Lamar at QB?
What would I was about to say? Like, if we do
That's
Lamar, what does that leave us?
81.
If we
And
do
that
Lamar,
leaves
what
us
does that
with
leave
no-
us with running
with
back?
6K, 7K.
7K.
I kind of like it.
Right here it is.
I was gonna say it's either Kamara or Edwards-Helaire to
I
get
like
to mini
Kamara.
stack. We either do Kamara or we mini stack with Diggs and do Edwards-Helaire.
Or did you hear this news, Guff? We might get all of Delvin Cook this week
Oh, not enough.
because this young fella, Madison, is out or potentially could be out.
We
He
don't
is
have enough
looking.
for Cook.
Yeah. Well, we'd have to make some adjustments, but
I'm not huge on Minnesota this week. Like but you know why. Like I'm heavy on the Dolphins, so that
Okay,
would not
so
be a
let's-
favorite pick of mine. Even if there is no Madison, that would not be a favorite pick. I wouldn't want to change our lineup just to get up to Cook. But
okay.
I don't mind having Kamara in there. I think that's a fine play. I don't mind doing Edwards-Helaire and correlating him with Diggs and then see where we could use that money. Maybe we go up at tight end. Maybe we go up at defense, something like that. Like correlating the tight end and the defense doesn't always really mean anything. So if we did that and did,
I like the Jackson play because we didn't go Andrews.
Okay, can we go and check out running backs? And just see what tier. Like, if we go lower, let's say we pay down and we wanted to upgrade a tight end spot.
I'll sort it based on.
No, just keep it sorted by salary.
Okay. I was just trying to give Donnie a different look, but yeah.
No, it's all good. We can. All right. So if we go lower than 7K, so you got Mixon, Kamara, Helaire, Jeff Wilson.
We know Stevenson's going to get a lot of carries. I know he's probably going to be a little more chalky, but
he is a chalky guy. But our lineup is not chalky at all. Like we've done a lot of stuff to not play chalk. Like the chalkiest piece of our lineup is probably Stephon Diggs.
But I told you,
so we could eat another piece of chalk if we wanted to.
We're not playing Stevenson.
What if we go Kenneth Walker? What is he at?
He's 5,400.
I kind of like the idea of going paying up from Robinson.
I like that because
I could keep Robinson. Well, yeah, we could see Robinson, but I either pay up Ingram or pay up Robinson.
What about this? What about if we take out Robinson and we go with?
Now we have 5,200.
And we go with this young man right here.
What I need to do is I need to see the wide receivers in this price range.
Yeah, well, I already know off the top of my head in that 5,200 range.
I have
you're
no
gonna
idea
see
what we're
Garrett
looking at.
Wilson. You're gonna see DJ Moore. You're gonna see Isaiah McKenzie. You're gonna see
Rondale.
Pretty much all of the Jets receivers, Corey Davis and that. You're gonna see Rondale. I think is a lot cheaper.
Sorted by
He's
receiver,
more around 4K.
Or we could also go another running back too.
Well, yeah, at the flex at 5,200 too. So you also are going to have Darrell Henderson in that range. You're going to have Eno Benjamin, who's the other high chalk running back. That would give if you went Eno instead of Walker, then you have you'd have almost 6K to spend at a flex. Now you'll get to that same tier we were in, just a little lower. You won't be able to get to the Hilairs, but you'll be just below that Ramondre range.
Yeah, we could also go with this guy too, because Smith-Schuster pissed everybody off.
I don't mind that. I would lean more towards.
I'm trying to think of what would correlate best in our lineup right now. We have our stack with a bring. We have our stack. Got that little mini.
I don't mind the Juju play if we decide to do that.
Could
Juju. Because it's hard because I know what my favorite, like just looking that on that screen, I know which play I actually really like this week.
me
But
too.
it doesn't correlate at all with anything in our lineup. Who are you thinking? Because I
was leaning towards Garrett Wilson of all those guys.
I like Henderson.
I'm on Tyler Boyd. Like with Higgins down and Hurst hurt, like Boyd's gonna get targets, and I expect Burrow to play very well in New Orleans. Like he's played well in that Superdome. He won the title in that Superdome. Like, and him and Chase need a get right week. So if him and Chase are doing stuff and then they start trying to take that away, his healthiest receiver is going to be Tyler Boyd. And so, like, he doesn't correlate at all with anything in our lineup, which is the worst possible thing.
Yeah.
Because it makes our lineup look kind of okay. The Juju play would be a lot better for correlation.
It would be a lot better.
But I mean, that would be a little chalky, but you know.
Well, I don't think any of these guys, like none of the guys in this range that are pulling up
The only chalky guy we
are
got is
Hendo and maybe McKenzie from Buffalo.
right.
Those are the chalky. Like Juju's not chalk, even though that
No.
game is kind of chalky. So like
Juju is going to be 1%.
and again, between Cooper and Duvernay and Hall, we can eat some chalk. I don't mind eating Kenneth Walker chalk and eating some Diggs chalk if it is.
Who's the one guy that you guys would want to kill? We always talk about that married kill game. Who's the one guy we want to get rid of in this lineup?
I don't mind.
I'm still down to either Ingram or Boyd. Like
Yeah,
I feel like we could
I
take
can
the
move
two
up
of them
Ingram.
off and change that to something else. Because like we've seen what we have in that range at wide receiver. So we either need to go down at wide receiver and then have more money left on the table, or go down or up at tight end so we have more or less money at wide receiver or flex.
Yep.
So like we were on Ingram at tight end.
What if we go Ertz to match him with, or bring back with the Kenneth Walker play?
I don't hate that actually.
I don't hate that.
Then we can go back to Robinson for the Giants.
We could, or we could pay down from the Jags and go up to Rondell Moore to have more correlation.
No, because I don't
I'd
like
be better
Rondale as the correlation for
But-
that. Like,
we have a
Ertz as the
correlation with the
Yeah, I'm not double
Jackson
stacking
play. It'd be
Arizona.
the Jackson play that correlates with Robinson. So either way, it's going to be we're playing a game that we're already playing.
Yeah, Wandale would be the core. Like at 3,800 at flex, Wandale is going to be the correlation.
I like
don't
it.
know. I'd have to look at that range to see if there's what the actual best projected play would be.
I think it's Rondell, man. I really do. I think the best because we would pair it. Because I mean, if you looked at the Giants' offense, they have nobody right now.
Yeah, but it's also not a great thing. Like I'd like to actually I'll have to look it up, see what those guys are in that range.
I'll do that. I'm trying to think because there is who is it? So Ito is going to play for the Cardinals, but they did just bring up Komet. And we did see him get like a ton of targets, kind of like Latavius Murray last year when he came in for the Giants, I believe, funny enough. last year. So we could go that cheap.
I wouldn't even touch that.
Yeah, I don't think there is a cheaper, more viable option at 3K. I'm trying to think.
Around, it's 3,800 or less. So like, Mackenzie's in, so Shakir is out.
Zach Gentry, but it doesn't correlate with anything. You would have Hayden Hurst. Because I even think Tyler Higbee would be too expensive. I know Jackson from the Colts would be back because we're playing the Jags defense, but even he's too expensive. Maybe we'd have to get way off the board and go with like a Sky Moore who saw a ton more targets for Kansas City recently. Like they keep saying they're going to play him more, and they just haven't.
I mean, I don't hate what that lineup looks like right now.
I just
now
feel like
pending
it's
news, like it's
missing
got
something.
good correlation, but yeah, it does seem to be missing something.
I don't know what it is. It might just be I'm seeing names and I don't love the names.
Which is usually indicative of the lineup I see winning the Millie a lot. It's like,
yeah,
I didn't want to play like 3 or 4 of these guys, or didn't think about playing 3 or 4 of these guys, or something like. It's like,
So I want us to put our forecasting hats on. Monday morning, we come in, we review this lineup. Whether you're right or wrong, what's the initial, I like this about this lineup?
I like that we got Jackson in. I feel like he's going to be the one quarterback that's at the top that's going to be avoided this week.
I agree with you in theory.
Okay, I think I just flipped in my head what made me not like it, because once I flipped this in my head, it's like, so it's bugging me. So if you could please, Logan, switch Diggs and Wandale. I need Diggs in the flex so that you look at the lineup like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Double stack. You have a single stack with Lamar, who's a running quarterback. You have his bring back. You have chalky running back. Then you have a correlation pivot off of the other chalky running back, almost like with our Breece Hall Cooper thing. You have the mini correlation with the chalky running back with Ertz.
Again.
Yeah. You have to do Wandale first. You have to get rid of Diggs, and then you have to do Wandale first.
I did it again, didn't I?
Yeah.
It's because I got excited. I know how to fix this lineup.
But like if you do that, then it's like it's got the correlated stack, it's got some chalk, but you're correlating with it to get some ownership off of it. We did our little pivot with Cooper and Breece Hall, and then you get your late game hammer with Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
That actually looks very solid.
Here,
the more I look at it, the more solid it actually looks. I just have to trust. I have to trust that stack goes off. I have to trust that Lamar does well, that his touchdowns go through Duvernay or through himself on the ground, and that Wandale is the number 1 receiver for the Giants.
Gov, here is the trend. Here's the switch if we wanted to do it, and it was my pillar, so we might as well play with it as quarterback being last. We take out Rondo, we take out Duvernay, right?
Take the stack.
We go with
the stack on this.
We go with a quarterback that's cheaper, who has the same upside, does the same things. We go instead of Robinson, we go Moore, similar price, would fit your pillar this week. And then we have 50.
It doesn't really fit my pillar this week. Rondale is one of the chalkier, cheap receivers. I'd be trying to get to a different guy in that 4K range than Rondale.
Sorry, I said the opposite. I meant to say The only problem is it wouldn't fit your pillar. I said it backwards. But it does give us 5,100. Just a thought exercise. We cannot finish this lineup anyways. So let's just leave that there because I don't want to DraftKings to get us in trouble. But these are two different variations of what we could do. But you guys did agree you like that first one for the difference, right?
I do like the first lineup. Like, I don't like, the more I look at it, the more I'm okay with it.
I prefer Lamar over Kyler.
I do. I don't hate Kyler, though.
I prefer
don't hate Kyler.
Duvernay over Moore this week.
Yeah, Duvernay did get a ton of targets. Now,
the only thing I don't love is Wandell, but like if he doesn't play, we have a big decision to make.
If he doesn't play, we can play Darius Slayton at the same price range, and he'll have to basically be the only receiver. And he did get the targets last week. So, like, that's basically the pivot we have to do to keep the correlation. It's like, if Wandale is out, Slayton is essentially what the Wandale play is supposed to be.
And I love the Ertz play.
Yeah, I'm fine correlating Ertz with Walker. If we're going to eat the Walker chalk, I love correlating it with Ertz over Rondale Moore or paying up for Hollywood.
Well, we talk about not the player, but the process a lot, Gov. I want to talk to you really quickly about if Zach Ertz was a wide receiver and we could change the position, would people play him more? I mean, do we get married to the idea that he's a tight end, therefore this, or therefore X? Because look at some of these targets at 4,900. It's impressive. And that's why I like it. And I would say next week, I think he's a terrible play because he's basically playing the DeAndre Hopkins role. And once Hopkins comes back, I think he's a more talented version. Or Hopkins would be a more talented version of what Zach Ertz can do. Similar to what we saw with Greg Dulcich and Rondale Moore. As soon as Rondale was healthy, Greg Dulcich kind of disappeared after. But you got to kind of play the wild horse while he's still running wild. I like the Zach Ertz play a lot. So I think that first lineup is the one we'll go with now, or at least something very similar to that. Is there any other big takeaways you want to mention before we get out of here, Gov, or before we transition?
No, I think that was good. That was a good process built lineup. I liked our core. Like, that's a good way to go about building a lineup.
Yeah.
For anyone.
Now, what I like most, though, is we went with 1 o'clock guys. Like, there's going to be a lot of PMR, but that doesn't mean it's good. I think you mentioned it a couple weeks ago, Gov, and I always reference back to our shows because they just have so much evergreen content as we get closer to Christmas and we start to unwrap our gifts. Like, go back and listen to me and Gov's conversations and Donnie. Like, what we spew every week, it's transferable. And you mentioned how people get caught up in always having more. You know, like, oh, my games don't start till 4, so that therefore Christian McCaffrey might score 60, you know, or, you know, Jefferson gets 40. Those are such rare outcomes that to pick a guy because of the time he plays, it's bad process. You just talked about good process. That would be an example of bad. Now, if you like to play like Walker and Ertz, then it's smart. But if you're just doing it based on a time slot, then it's very bad. I just want to mention that really quickly.
Agreed.
Who's the worst injury reaction, Donnie, regardless of price? So, like, a lot of people listening are probably DFS guys. Like, who do you think's like a bad play because of an injury. For me, it's Ito Benjamin. I just want to get that out there. I don't like Ito. I think Ito's a bad running back.
I would say if I'm just avoiding a certain thing to play because of injuries, I would say avoid the Patriots defense. I know last week I was actually building them up. Jonathan Jones is a big piece of that defense, and I get they're playing the Browns, who probably won't score. I mean, I know they score over 20 points a game, but I just think the Browns will probably, do a little more damage, at least yardage wise, on them. I don't see Jacoby Brissett, getting exposed or anything.
Donnie, give me your Patriots take on Philip Strong, because there's some DFS guys that are trying to get a little sneaky with this play.
I mean, I always like young running backs out of college, later round guys. Lately, especially, have been really kind of a big boom situation. We always see the late round running back come in and go off. I don't know how much playing time he's going to get. He might get a lot. He might not get any. I know there isn't much to go off of. I think he would get at least on the field. I just think they'll have Ramondre Stevenson be the workhorse.
See, that's what pisses me off about Bill Belichick, is he doesn't care about fantasy football at all. It pisses me off because people don't realize that he doesn't care. It's not Bill Belichick. I have no problem with Bill Belichick not caring. It's that people don't read into these things that matter. Truly, I'm going to keep playing Pitts because I just think eventually the Falcons want to be like, we drafted Pitts, we think he's good, right? Bill Belichick's got championship rings, boys. He does not got to prove shit to any fantasy owner. I mean, we might see J.J. Taylor,
I love J.J. Taylor, but I don't think he's going to get on the field.
Or, you just never know. We might see some crazy stuff out of, Jacoby Myers running. The Patriots do whatever they think the scheme dictates them to do. They don't. So, I just think.
No Nelson Aguilar this week either, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he is out.
Yeah, so I just look at some of these injuries is not equal. I know Matthew Stafford likes to throw to running backs out of the backfield. So Henderson's a good play. Breece Hall's a good play. Walker had legitly a 60-yard rush and was top 5 coming out of the draft for Rookie of the Year if he had started from. He was a workhorse at Michigan State. We're talking 30 touches a game, 35 touches a game. He had 5 touchdowns against Michigan last year, which was one of the best college defenses, against the run. Walker is established. And then we're thinking about playing guys like Philip Lindsay. I do think you can overthink things, and so that's why I like what we did there with the defense, for example. Gov, any other thing you want to get on the record before we close up and give our last spread picks?
No, honestly, I am ready for our second set of picks. I kind of want to hear what you guys have to say.
Let's get Kyler and Rondell Moore out of here first off.
Yeah, just take those out of the lineup because I don't like them sitting in there. You don't got to finish the lineup or anything. You can put a different screen on for all I care.
Got you. I got you. Well, let's just do this. Let's clean the slate. That way you guys don't got to worry. I'll clean up. The party's about to be over. We'll do some cleanup. So now, did you guys ask anyone? I mentioned we could do a friends and family pick. I know, Gov, you did ask your dad, correct?
Yes.
Did you get?
I did not get an answer. Sadly.
I tried, and
I also tried.
I couldn't get one.
Then I guess I'll start because I like my dad's pick, so I'll take it as my second pick. I'm going to take Baltimore plus the points, I will give the points. So I have it at -5.5. My dad said take the money line, but I'm confident enough to take the points. I'll take the -5.5. They will cover. Baltimore to cover -5.5.
Oh man, I don't like it.
My dad's pick would be the money line.
Well, here's the thing. We took Lamar. So clearly we think the Baltimore is going to have a decent game.
Yeah, but his dad doesn't.
No, my dad does.
Oh no, your dad does. Sorry.
Yeah.
So,
Like he's taking Baltimore money line though. Like
Now-
he's not so sure that he doesn't believe in the Giants. So he would probably, but he also is not a guy to take 5. I'm not taking 5 points on anything. Not in football.
yeah.
But I have that confidence. I'll take the points. I'll take I'll eat that and say they cover the 5.5.
So Donnie, I have an idea because we both failed, right? And Gov actually followed through. So why don't we do something on the fly that's a bit different? Why don't we find a game we disagree on, but we both like for different reasons, and see if we can? Because we picked a game we all three of us liked, and Gov actually followed the rules, and we couldn't find a person. So let's do this. Where say you like the Patriots, and I did, and then I would take the opposite end. Is there a game that we're conflicted about?
Ironically, I do like the Patriots. Give me the 3 points, and you can have the Browns.
I don't like the Browns. I don't want Jacoby Brissett.
Okay. Is there a game that you had in mind? Do you like the Steelers?
How many points would you give me with the Steelers?
Hold on. Let's see what DraftKings has it at.
I don't care what DraftKings. Would you
Plus 10?
Would you give me +5? I'll split the difference.
I'll give you 6.5.
Yeah, let's do it. And I'll tell you why. These receivers are better than most receivers that Tampa has, including a guy that I know you like. This guy could be the difference. They use him in a lot of jet sweeps. I think not saying it will be him, but I think the Steelers they pull all the tricks this week. They're gonna. We might see. We talked about the Ravens. We might see a Miles Boykins. We might see some crazy stuff. I like Pickens. I think Johnson has the chip on his shoulder. He's like Drew Brees. He's been good for so many years, and people just, especially DraftKings, does not want to price him up. Him and Tyler Lockett might be the most disrespected wide receivers of the season when it comes to DraftKings pricing. I don't understand why, but it is what it is. At least Lockett has a hamstring injury. Johnson cleared injury protocol and still is not even 6K. So it's just crazy to me. I like it. But with that being said, I'm going to get us out of here. We had to go a bit late. Gov, why don't you tell the people, man, you were killing it, right? You guys had a great experience with your pool tournament, right? Because I know a few months ago we mentioned, you and Mike mentioned how you guys were doing so well with some of your tournaments. Well, why don't we give Gov some shine here? So what's it look like tomorrow?
Tomorrow I have a long day that I was not expecting.
Right, so I want it to be a good long day, Gov. I want you to feel like you're exhausted, but like you're like Floyd Mayweather. You were dodging bullets out there. I want you to feel exhausted but exhilarated at the same time. Like you might win the million tomorrow, Gov. Like that's the kind of exhaustion.
That's the problem. Like I'm not gonna be able to do anything that I actually like. This has now become a hassle. Because of things that happened, this tournament has now become a hassle that is now stressful that I don't even want to do anymore. And that's really not a good thing. Like, I want to Antonio Brown walk out in the middle of the fucking game. and just not even play pool because of a lot of this crap. I should have been playing a game tonight, and we should have been doing this at like 11 o'clock. We were all planning on doing that. And then us get a curveball, and now I have to be there playing pool in the middle of doing football stuff. So, like, my entire day is thrown off. I probably won't be able to build my lineups the way I want to where I would actually have a shot at winning the Millie. And like it's nothing good is going to come of this. And I have to try to calm myself down to play well. Like, so like, I really don't want to talk about this, to be honest, Logan. Not in a great mood when it comes to it. I was sort of happy that we got to this podcast to talk about this.
No, I got you, and I appreciate you being honest with me and being transparent, because I do think that kind of put a bow on it. Things like this will happen in your DFS career, and it's how you adjust. And Gov is like one of the more kinder people I've ever known. So for you to be this upset and for it to affect you this badly, like I hope all the DFS gods are on your side tomorrow. But yeah, like I like it might be that Dolphins defense. Like whatever happens, I hope they have 3 pick sixes for you. You know, I don't even know when they play, 1 o'clock. I hope by the time 1:10 comes, they have like 40 points. And I'm like, you know what? He needed some luck. So, and sometimes we need that boost, Donnie. We all go through bad moments, and like you never know. Sometimes you have process like we did with Alliance tonight. Sometimes we have luck. Either way, thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for sticking with me. I thought we had some fun tonight. I appreciate it. And again, I appreciate the honesty as well. Have a good one. Any last words, Donnie?
No, that's about it for me.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone.
Later, everyone. Like, subscribe.